I've talked about how a BC-304 could not go and save the crew of the Destiny, but is there a way they could be saved by the SGC? Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So I saw a couple of comments that basically said a BC-304 at Hyperspace could go and save the Destiny. Some people seem to think that they could get there and back within 90 days. I've done a video explaining why, no they can't, and that the Destiny is at least 3 billion light years away. Now, predictably in that video, I got the math wrong. I knew I would. I even said in the video that I would, and I did. I said that it would take 5 years for a BC-304 to get 3 billion light years out, and that was a minimum distance to the Atlantis. I actually missed a zero off 3 billion. It's 9 zeros, not 8. And it's actually 50 years to get out that far. So 100 years round trip? Not very likely. And I was ignoring things like they'd have to take food and stuff and fuel and, not having to stop because the engines would overheat and all those other things. So I was talking about an absolute bare minimum. Now, this ignited a really fascinating debate. Loads of people were throwing in the ideas, though, about how they could actually be saved. One example was that how about a BC-304 or 305, 306? It's been 20 years since Stargate SGU and Atlantis ended. How about if one of those vessels was powered by a ZPM? Now, we have actually got some estimates on that a ZPM-powered starship was able to get to Atlantis in about 3 days. Now, we did our previous maths based on a starship being able to get to the Pegasus Galaxy in 18 days. So, 6 times faster. Unfortunately, that still means the BC-304, 305, 306, whatever, would still take over 6 years to find the Destiny. And that's assuming you knew exactly where she was, and she was at literally the minimum distance that Rush could have meant when he said that they travelled several billion light years. Now, 3 billion light years, just over 6 years. 7 billion light years, a bit more. So traveling at hyperspace, regardless of how much power you've got, seems like a little bit of a waste of time. Another very popular option, though, is build a Supergate. The ancients made the Milky Way galaxy home because it was very, very far away from the Ori galaxy. The only way the Ori could get ships here was via a Supergate. So surely we could send a Supergate to find the Destiny. Now, we have no idea what that distance was. Is it something like 3 billion light years? We just don't know. But it's far enough away that the Ori couldn't travel here in ships. So they built the Supergate. Could we build a Supergate also? Well, that Supergate was powered by a black hole. That's a little bit difficult. The Ori were very technologically advanced. Not maybe as advanced as the ancients, but, well, when they first got here, they kicked the Asgard's ass. So, advanced. How would we even go about starting to build a Stargate? I have no idea. We would also have to somehow manage to get the parts for a Supergate to the Destiny. I have no idea how we do that. But in theory, the idea of building a Supergate, if we could figure out how, and if we could get a black hole to power it, is a workable hypothesis. But it's based on many, many assumptions that we just don't know the answer to. Another very popular solution to this problem was the Atlantis herself. Now, she has a wormhole drive, technology built by the ancients. They were able to get to Earth virtually instantaneously from Atlantis. So the wormhole drive could get us to the Destiny, similarly as quickly. But there's a few problems with it. For one, this was a technology that the ancients couldn't get to grips with. They said it was incredibly power draining. Now, this is coming from a race of people that had ZPMs, and they still said, look, this uses a crap load of power. It's also very, very difficult to control a vessel actually within this wormhole traveling through space. The calculations were mind-boggling, and it failed repeatedly. We also have to remember, though, that Samantha Carter did tell Shepard that the wormhole drive had been burned out, that it was virtually destroyed, and that it was going to be very, very difficult to repair as they didn't even know what some of the parts were. I think she said something along the lines of we didn't even know what to call them, never mind how to fix them. Now, even if they could reverse engineer this wormhole drive, we have to remember that the ancients couldn't even get this technology to work properly. And you then have to remember that the Asgard, who were way more advanced than us, even though we do now have their sort of data core, so we are going to be learning much more about the Asgard technology. But even the Asgard said, when they found great libraries of information from the ancients, they had barely been able to scratch the surface of some of the technology and some of the advancements that they were able to achieve. So, even though it has been 20 years since the end of SG1 and Atlantis, I very much doubt we're going to be technologically advanced enough to all of a sudden catch up to the ancients and build a wormhole drive better than one they were able to build. Going from Atlantis to Earth is about 3 million light years, and the Atlantis barely made it. Earth to Destiny is 3 billion light years away. I don't think it's a practical solution, or at least not yet. The Destiny has been leaving a bunch of gates behind it as it's been on its merry travels. So could those gates be used to jump home? Now, yeah, why not? The problem is there's probably millions of those gates, and it will probably take decades to get home. I'm completely guessing. I have no clue. The other problem is you don't actually know what you don't know. So you don't know how many of those gates have been destroyed, how many of those gates were just left on, asteroids, or that in the millions and millions of years since they were deposited, whether they're still working. So you could start this journey and suddenly find halfway that you can't get any further. So a lot of people did suggest, why don't you just gate home using that? Maybe you could figure out a way to sort of jump from gate to gate very rapidly or something. Yeah, the problem is, again, it's based on loads and loads of assumptions that we just don't have the answers to. So, possibility. Now, obviously, the most likely and the most obvious possibility to get them home is to find a way to connect a Stargate that they actually have. They got to the Destiny via Stargate. Now, fair enough, that Stargate was hooked up to a planet and powered by a planet that then exploded when it was used. So, all right, we might have to destroy a few planets in order to be able to do this. It's also not as easy as just, getting to the Destiny and then going, oh, we're going to plug this into a planet, we're going to go home. The device that was plugged into it was an ancient construction that was vast. So, again, not very likely. But finding maybe another power source, maybe, I don't know, a few ZPMs, whatever, and then being able to connect an active wormhole from our galaxy to the Destiny, send the power source through, and then turn around and come back. That seems to be really the only likely and only real practical solution for getting that crew home. We also have to think, how many resources are the SGC actually going to put into this endeavor? They don't really know where the Destiny is. The Destiny is actually in herself not particularly technologically advanced, so they're not necessarily going to learn a great deal on a technological level, at least, from the Destiny. Her mission was actually superseded by the city ships. The ancients outgrew and never bothered following through with the mission. So, again, from a practical, what do we get out of it point of view, I'd say that actual resources being put into it would be limited. So there are loads of really good ideas on how we could save the crew of the Destiny. But what do you think? What is your favorite solution? Do you think this is a problem that we must solve? How many resources, if you were in charge of this, would you put into saving the crew? Or would you say, you know what? It's a shame. It's sad. But there are more important things to worry about. Get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, though, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out, and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/SciTrek, where most of our new videos appear first, and there is an option for a 7-day free trial. So go give it a look. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.